This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 1385. Yes is the New No, by Ira Israel of iraisrael.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another weekly bonus episode of Optimal Relationships Daily. I'm your host, Greg Audino, but the narrator you'll be hearing today is Justin Malik, the co-founder of the OLD Network and the host of our mother show, Optimal Living Daily. This post from Ira Israel was originally featured on that show, but since we think it also has a lot to do with relationships and would be of interest to you guys, we've chosen to share it here now as well. So without further ado, let's turn it over to Justin for the reading as we optimize your life.
Yes is the New No, by Ira Israel of iraisrael.com. There's a wonderful sketch in Monty Python Live at the Hollywood Bowl where four Yorkshiremen are trying to best each other regarding who survived the most indigent and treacherous childhood. Douglas Copeland referred to a similar phenomenon that occurs at AA meetings as one-downsmanship. There's a new game in town in relation to busyness. If you observe conversations closely, does it seem as if there is some sort of tacit contest regarding who is busier? For instance, you tell a friend that your day was jam-packed with back-to-back meetings, and she tells you that she had to fly the organ donor helicopter to Santa Ynez and back twice to save two Nobel Prize-winning rocket scientist twin sisters who both needed kidney transplants. And you think you had a busy day? I've noticed that a large percentage of belated email responses I receive include the words crazy busy or some derivative thereof in the first two lines. If I were writing in German, crazy busy would already be one word. Of late, I've been on the receiving end of that phrase so many times that I'm certain it'll be included as a single word in the next edition of the OED. Of course, the ultimate manifestation of crazy busy, the emperor's new clothes, is to not receive any response at all. Those non-responses are from people who are so many clicks beyond crazy busy that they're overwhelmed, totally swamped, crushed, inundated. And then when your paths casually cross at yoga or Whole Foods or Starbucks, their faces light up as they rush past you exclaiming, "I know I owe you a call. I've been crazy busy. Let's get together next week." Granted, through many years of studying and traveling, I've met some pretty high-powered human beings. Yet dear few of the people floating around my orbit have full-time 60-hour-per-week desk jobs. Most of them are self-employed freelancers, yoga teachers, artists, writers, filmmakers, musicians, therapists, and other types of rampant do-gooders. If I met someone who worked 17 hours per day, 7 days per week in the Foxconn factory and he said crazy busy, I would understand. If I met someone who was weeks away from finding the cure for leukemia after 20 years in a laboratory and she said crazy busy, I would concur. But if you're self-employed, I think the term crazy busy is relative. The problem is that busyness has become part of personal identity, how we get our sense of self. 11 years ago, David Brooks wrote of the new bohemian bourgeois class nonchalantly trying to gain social status by besting each other with exotic vacation destinations. Oh, you were in St. Barth's for Christmas? Antigua is so much less sceney. I think that busyness is a new status symbol that people use to measure themselves against other people. When was the last time you heard someone say, I sat in bed for the last week eating licorice and watching TV and didn't think he or she must be unwell? Ever hear the phrase, I want to be a human being, not a human doing? And this is how yes has become the new no, because many of us have become human doings. Since the invention of multitasking, Descartes' cogito ergo sum could now be translated as, I'm crazy busy, therefore I am. And we're all so crazy busy that we double book, flake on meetings, cancel at the last minute via email, text important messages that shouldn't be texted, pregnant, driving on freeway now, gotta stop smoking, sucks, we'll call later, and wield caller ID like Luke Skywalker wielding a lightsaber. Swoosh, swoosh. Oh, Joan's calling, probably just a whinge about her cat's hairball. Make it wait, I'll call her back later. Right now I'm crazy busy. But when crazy busy becomes your way of being in the world, later too often becomes never. So yes is the new no because people say, yes, let's get together next week, to your face. But after sundry emails and texts trying to schedule a place and time to actually meet, they give up and actual human connection flitters away into the ether. Should I mention personal integrity? Should I mention creating a reality by being your word and showing up when you say you will? I dare not. I dare not. I recall hearing the phrase many years ago, on your deathbed, your inbox will be full, meaning that there are perpetually things to do, things we think need to get checked off our ever-growing checklists. We delude ourselves into believing that texting and emailing allow us more time to get things done. And we delude ourselves into believing that we're really connecting with people through these new media. Sans facial expressions, sans smells, sans body language, sans touch, sans eye contact. Are people living happier and more fulfilling lives since technology has enabled us to do more? Or more precisely, to do more things at the same time and be crazy busy? Or are people increasingly stressed out due to overstimulation, due to being overconnected? Let's not allow yes to be the new no. Let's make an effort to engage in authentic and compassionate communications. Let's not fool ourselves into thinking that interacting on Facebook or Twitter will help us get our emotional needs met. Let's take out our earbuds when we're in a restaurant or a cafe. Let's show up for the human beings in our lives with face-to-face interactions. Let us stop hiding behind our thumbs and fingers. The eyes are the windows to the soul, not the thumbs. So put down your iPhone, put down your BlackBerry, get up from your computer, and make a real connection with a fellow human being today. Because you don't want your tombstone to read, "Was crazy busy." You want it to read, "Beloved." You just listened to the post titled "Yes is the New No" by Ira Israel of iraisrael.com. Thank you to Ira. This title reminded me of a Derek Sivers post from very, very long time ago that I narrated way back in episode 44, I believe. And I thought this was going to be like the opposite view of that article, which was basically saying that we should say no to more things to make room in our lives for things that actually matter. But I was wrong. Ira is saying don't allow yes to be the new no. Don't say yes and then not follow through or take on too many things, causing yourself to get overwhelmed. And also a good stance on technology in general in this article. Make sure we always keep that in check. But anyway, I don't want to summarize the article. If you want to hear that good one from Derek, that's way back in episode 44. But that'll do it for now. Thank you for listening and being here and for subscribing to the show. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll be back tomorrow as usual, where your optimal life awaits.